Hello again, it's Eric Arnold here in the Sports Barn on this Friday, August 27th. We're here to bring you a handful of free Major League Baseball picks for today, this Friday. We're going to reiterate our two picks for tomorrow, Saturday, week 0, the soft opening of the college football season. Got a lot to cover today, mostly politically related. So let's get into it. We'll put the picks at the end for those of you that are sports-oriented only. Well, of course, you saw that tragedy over in Afghanistan as I screwed the number up, I don't know, 12, 13 of our servicemen were killed yesterday in a bombing, terrorist attack. So terrible. Beyond that, I thought, well, let's think a little bit behind the scenes here. You know, I saw there was obviously, you have an attack like this, there's a mass demand usually for the president to take responsibility, or in this case, because Biden's so obviously incompetent, to resign, to step aside, to get out of the way, or impeach him. Is he really president to begin with? Let's start there. You know, I don't think this guy's the president. He's a figurehead. He's not in charge. He's just reading off a teleprompter, and he's not doing that very well either. So I think his wife is the acting president of the United States, Jill Biden. To me, I think she's the one calling the shots. Really, when you think about it, why did this guy run for president in the first place? I mean, it's pretty clear that he's at the end of his rope, that he's probably going to be dead within 3 years. He's lost his marbles. He doesn't have the cognitive ability to walk and chew gum anymore. He's just, hey, it happens. I'm not going to feel sorry for Biden. He's been a son of a bitch his whole life. So just because you've lost your marbles, does that make me now need to feel sorry for you because you're a son of a bitch? No, he was a son of a bitch then. He's just a man with a brain full of mush. Who used to be a son of a bitch. He probably still is a son of a bitch. But at any rate, I don't think he's the president. I think Joe Biden is. I think there's already been a deal cut and is going forth in place right now, behind the scenes. I've been thinking about this for a few days, and it just kind of crystallized in my mind in the last 24 hours or so that I believe Jill Biden and whoever's with her, probably some of the Biden kids, you know, Hunter is probably in there somewhere. He's the family bag man. He's the guy that's got to make sure that whatever tin pot dictators and whoever is paying off the Bidens, you got to make sure they're taken care of. Whoever's invested in Biden Inc. is paid off. So he's got to be involved in some fashion. And then, you know, whoever else is hanging on to the Bidens. Who's opposed to the Bidens? Well, I would imagine that's Kamala Harris. The Obamas. I think the Obamas are backing Kamala Harris. Probably the far left wing of the Democrat Party, the squad, you know, the hardcore Marxists. The Marxists that are proud to tell you they're Marxists. You almost have to admire their chutzpah in that, yep, we're Marxists, absolutely. We want a hardcore, total revolution in this country. We want to remake all of America. You know, those kind of people. That's Obama. That's the squad. Kamala Harris, she's in there. So I think they would very much like Biden to go away. But even though they have complete control of the government, they cannot quite get rid of him. In other words, as we learned in our last presidency, you can't just impeach a president with your members of one party. You got to have 2/3 in the Senate. And I think the Republicans have cut a deal with Jill Biden. Now, part of this I read an article, it was an article written by Kurt Schlichter before the last election. And he sort of foresaw this eventuality that, well, if Biden wins, then he's going to be a figurehead. He won't be able to mentally do the job. So at some point, the hardcore left is going to try to push him out. But, so Jill Biden now, Jill Biden, not Joe Biden, Jill Biden, I think has cut a deal with the centrists in the Republican Party, the power guys, the guys that run the show. And that's not Ted Cruz, that's not Rand Paul, that's Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, those kind of people. Those are the guys that wield the real power there in the Senate for the Republicans. In other words, after this bombing over there yesterday in Afghanistan, you saw a couple of the backbenchers run out and demand Joe Biden's resignation. I think Hawley from Missouri, Blackburn from Tennessee. You didn't see Mitch McConnell say it, though. No. That's because he's got a deal with Jill Biden to keep the Bidens in power. Now, how does this deal work? Well, the Republicans agree to let some of the Biden agenda get through, to prop this guy up, to not make him look like a complete and total disaster, because the Republicans want Biden in there, I'm thinking. They want him in there as opposed to a healthy, radical communist like Kamala Harris. They don't want her in there, I think for good reason. So they're going to prop up Biden. They let the smaller infrastructure bill go through. It's basically the same principle of letting some air out of a balloon that's going to pop. If you just take a hard and fast, we're not letting anything go by, well, the pressure builds up and builds up and builds up, and it's possible the thing might just pop altogether, and then you have trouble. So I think the Republicans are letting some of the air out of the balloon. Look at the Supreme Court. There's been some very questionable liberal decisions coming out of the quote-unquote conservative Republican Supreme Court. Why is that? I think it's on purpose that you haven't heard a whole lot of talk about stacking the Supreme Court lately, have you? No, that's because the Republicans, Graham and whatnot, and the guys that like Roberts, Kavanaugh, those people on the Supreme Court know it's like we better play ball here, better let some liberal decisions go through. Otherwise, these people are going to just make us irrelevant. They're just going to stack the court with another 6 liberal judges, and it won't matter what I say. So I think the Republicans on the Supreme Court know this, and that's, again, part of the deal. We'll let the Supreme Court trend leftward, and therefore there's no need to stack the court. You look good. You're getting decent decisions that mollify your base, your leftist liberal base, so you don't need to stack the Supreme Court. I saw an article that the judges in the District of Columbia, these are hardcore Marxist judges, are upset because the Justice Department is not pursuing harder, worse conditions on the rioters from January 6th, the Trump rioters, that the judges want these guys thrown in jail. They want them thrown under the jail for as long as possible. And the Justice Department's going easy on these guys. This is the view of the judges. Well, that's part of the deal. That's part of the deal in that, you want Republicans going to get something back too for carrying Biden. So part of the deal is, hey, you go easy on these rioters, because otherwise, if you don't, Mitch McConnell's going to have a riot on his hands. The Trump people on his right are going to go nuts and go, wow, our people, you're letting these guys become political prisoners for the next 10 years. They're going to become martyrs to the Trump people. So this is all part of the deal. So I think that's what's going on here. So people saying, hey, let's impeach Biden. Do we really want to do that? Because I kind of think that's what the Democrat Party would love to do. You know, if suddenly a whole bunch of Republicans rose up and go, let's get rid of Biden. You know, I think the Democrats would be going, whoo-hoo, throw me into that briar patch. Yay, let's get rid of him. And that's where the deal comes in, that Jill Biden and Mitch McConnell aren't going to let that happen. Jill Biden and Mitch McConnell, we agree to keep Joe, the mush-brained figurehead, in power in exchange for you, Jill Biden, tamping down the worst of the leftist communist agenda. You know, don't pack the Supreme Court. No $3.5 trillion infrastructure. Don't take over, federalize the elections. No gun confiscation. You know, this is the worst of their agenda. And frankly, they just haven't got that far with it, and I think that's part of the deal. Joe Biden hasn't pushed for gun confiscation. He's made some noise about it, but he hasn't really done anything. He hasn't really started whipping people hard on this Green New Deal, which is essentially what this $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill in the Congress is. That's the Green New Deal. Biden hasn't really put people's feet to the fire. He hasn't gotten too far with his plan to federalize the elections. You know, mail-in voting for everyone. He hasn't done that yet. So I think it's part of the deal. So this is what I believe. You know, am I right? I think I am. But do I have any proof of it? Of course not. You know, I don't have some kind of secret email from Jill Biden saying, yep, you're right. I am running the country. I've waited a long time for this, and I'll be damned if I'm giving it up just because my husband has drool running down his chin. That ain't happening. I'm staying right where I am, and he is staying right where he is. You know, I don't have an email that says that, no. So, at any rate, those were my thoughts there. I did have another thought about Afghanistan there. It just, I don't know, it occurred to me, is it possible that the deep state, and I think you got to credit Trump for that one, because I think he has shown us clearly something we always suspected, that there is a deep state, there is a swamp, there is a deeply entrenched elite military political class in the highest levels of government that don't give a shit who the president is. They just want to protect their own power. And it just kind of dawns, you know, I just had this suspicion, is it possible that these guys are purposely screwing up Afghanistan just to show everybody and anybody that doesn't want to intervene in every last war all over the planet that, oh, you don't want to intervene, huh? Well, watch what happens when we withdraw. You know, total mess. I just, you know, why would you close that Bagram Air Force Base before you had everybody out? Why would you do that? That just seems like obviously stupid, unless you wanted to create a disaster. You know, it almost feels that way, but I don't know. It's just a suspicion. I mean, I saw Deep Stater Leon Panetta. You know, you say, deep state, deep state. What does that mean? Who is that? Well, okay. Leon Panetta is about as deep state as you get. Former Clinton lackey, former head of the CIA. He said, yeah, we'll have to go back into Afghanistan when the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and ISIS, they all get going again. We'll have to go back in there. So, okay, yeah, you know, it's like, it never ends. You know, you can't get out. So I guess that's what the deep state want you to think. Just a thought. What else is new? Well, I saw on the mask mandates another piece of good news. Someone asked me about that yesterday, and I think what's going on right now is the government is letting corporate America, and there's not a lot of degrees of separation between the two at the moment. They're letting corporate America go forth with the vaccine mandates, forcing their employees to get the vaccines, forcing customers of said corporations to get the vaccines. They're kind of the canary in the coal mine. They're the guinea pig. They're the, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens to these businesses if they take a huge hit on the bottom line, if people uprise against them, or if they all just everybody just meekly goes, yes, oh yes, in order to work at Chevron, I've got to have a vaccination, so I will submit. In today's very liquid labor market where nobody works, and if you want a job, you pretty much have a job. I saw, what was it? Was it United that ran out, the United Airlines that ran out in the forefront and said, we demand vaccinations of all our people. And then all the other airlines hung back and went, just like the scene in Stripes where Harold Ramis steps forward and Bill Murray does one of those. And he doesn't come forward, leaving Harold Ramis hanging out all by himself. Well, that's what all the other airlines did to United, thinking, all right, well, go ahead. We'll just poach all your people that don't want to get vaccinated and quit. Well, they can come work for us because we got all kind of places they could work. We've got, you need a job, we've got a place to put you. So Southwest, who I don't even know, Frontier, whoever, I'm making it up because I don't know who is back without a vaccine mandate, but I know all the airlines did not jump right with United. So I thought that was interesting. Anyway, I think the government's just kind of waiting to see how the corporations are treated with their mandates. I saw another poll by a pollster I trust, Trafalgar. They found another, basically confirming somewhat the Twitter poll I told you about the other day, and this one feels a little more correct, if you will. They found 42.7% of people would be more likely to do business with a company that does not mandate the vaccination, whereas 34.3% of people would be less likely to do business with a company that mandates the vaccination. So that's about a 10% difference. That feels about right. The other one, 80%, that just didn't feel right at all. I want it to be true, but I don't think it is. This one feels about right. And it's good because, it means not a majority, a plurality of people are against these mandates that they, just like me, it's like I'm vaccinated, but I'll be goddamned if I want to do business with somebody that's discriminating against someone that's not vaccinated. I've got some very good friends of mine that are not vaccinated, and I don't want to see them treated like shit. I don't think that's right. I don't look down on their decision to not get vaccinated. It's their health. It's not mine. A lot of people just can't do that. They just cannot let other people alone. They just cannot do it. They've got to rule the world. They got to tell everybody what to do. All I want to do is be left alone. That's pretty much the libertarian ethos. Leave me the fuck alone. But, if I ever run for president, I think that'll be my slogan. Eric Arnold for president. Leave me the fuck alone. I like that. Oh, let's see. Where else are we? Well, let's get to the picks. Where we were when last seen, we split on Wednesday. Red Sox let us down. That could have gone. We had two games that could have gone either way. We got the one, lost the second one. What are you going to do? They can't all be winners. I only have the two today. I like the Rays. It's a Friday. Like I said, I'm not excited about the opening day of a series where you can't, you're not sure how the dice are going to fall in that opening first game of a series. So we're a little hesitant here, but we do like the Rays. I still keep saying they're the best team in the American League, and I think you're getting serious value here. They're at the worst team in the league, the Orioles. The Orioles, I think, for some reason, are keeping this number somewhat down in that they've scored some runs here these past 2 days and won 2 in a row, which I think is the only time all year they've won 2 in a row. They haven't won 3. I don't even know if they've won 3 in a row all year long. The Rays are still playing hard. They have to play hard. The Yankees are right behind these guys. 4 games over what's left? 40 games maybe? That's nothing, especially when the Yankees refuse to lose. So right now, the Rays got to keep going. They got to play their best baseball. I think they will tonight. The Orioles stink. We're laying some heavy wood here, but that number says there's about a 67% chance, maybe 70% chance the Rays win this game. I think it's higher than that. I think it's upward of 80% the Rays win this game. Matt Harvey, he is not good. The bullpen and the pitching staff for the Rays, very good. The Rays have a good offense. They play good defense. They do everything the Orioles don't do. I just think this is a mismatch. And if the Yankees were, in other words, Orioles, Yankees, what would the line be? I think it'd be 250 easy. So I think we're getting value here with the Rays. You always get value with the Rays because no one thinks they're any good. We'll take them. All right, and then also last pick is the Yankees. I don't know. They just keep going. They just right now they put it together. They've got so much high-priced talent. At some point, you almost can't help but win if you're them. But then they choose wisely too. In other words, some of their best players are guys that you pick up for a song in the bullpen that they're paying next to nothing, and they're the guys that are getting business done. Cole has pitched well against the A's in his career. Manaea, he's a nice pitcher, but he's one of these guys, I think, that when the lights get brighter, he has not yet learned to step his game up. I was thinking about that last night. I'm watching Scherzer come off the mound there at 1:30 in the morning out in San Diego. And he's getting a standing O from his fans. Hell, even some of the Padre fans are applauding him. Well, he threw 7 2/3 innings shutout ball. I thought that's what you're looking for. That's a stud. When the lights get brighter, he gets better. He gets tougher. Whereas, the Phillies the other night, they had their ace on the mound, Zach Wheeler, and he has pretty nice numbers and stats for the year. But he's not an ace. He's not a number one. When the lights shine brightly for Zach Wheeler, he gets smaller. Last 2 games of 20, when the Phillies had a chance to make the massive everybody in playoff, he lost. A massive game this week with the Rays, where the Phillies desperately need these wins. He lost. In fact, I think the Phillies have lost the last 3 Wheeler starts. So, we're coming down the stretch. Wheeler gets smaller. And I think Manaea is one of these guys. Why do I think that? I have this memory of him starting one of these one game at deaths, and the dude was out of the game before you could say, hey, where's my beer? he just got blown up immediately. That's kind of my hunch that Cole will be solid tonight. I think Benea will not pitch that well, and the Yankees are going to get it done again. So there's the thinking there. Real quick, tomorrow, Saturday, we like Illinois. We like the veteran quarterback, the veteran offensive line. I saw the countervailing argument to Illinois, I believe, is that Martinez, the quarterback from Nebraska, did not play in the game last year, and they're laying that off of hence the blowout. I don't think Martinez is going to make that much of a difference. In other words, that game wasn't an accident last year. I don't think that Illinois is that much worse than Nebraska. In fact, I think the teams are basically even. If I had to, all right, smart guy, what would your line be? I'd probably make Illinois a 3-point favorite. I think the teams are equal. I'll give Illinois 3 points for being at home. There, Illinois by 3. That's the line I would have. As it is, you're getting 7. You're getting 7 in your home opener with a O-line that's been together for at least 2 years. I don't know. I just think that Illinois is going to control that offensive line of scrimmage. And if you can control the battle in the trenches, even just one trench, you're getting 7 points. I like that. And then I like Hawaii. I mean, we're getting 17 and a half, 18 points. I don't think UCLA is that good. I really don't think there's that much of a difference between these middle of the pack Pac-12 teams and the Mountain West teams. Just don't think there's this huge difference between the two. Hawaii is not terrible. There's not a terrible team. They beat Houston in their bowl game last year. What if that said Houston versus UCLA? What would the line be then? Would it be 17 and a half? I bet it wouldn't be. I bet it would be closer. So I see UCLA as maybe 10 points better than Hawaii, but not 17 and a half. So that's what we're playing there. All right, there you have it. Hit the like button if you care to. Otherwise, we'll get something for you. I'm going to try real hard to get you a video tomorrow. Tomorrow's a very busy day, but we like Saturdays. We'd like to play baseball on Saturdays. We think that's a winning day. So we're going to try like hell to get you a quick and dirty video for tomorrow. And good enough. All right, signing off, Eric Arnold. Take care. Thank you.